What's going on, everyone? It's Sunday. It's our Sunday BS session. This is the second time doing this. We've got Nate Hale on. I'm Steve Crane. We are live on Facebook and also YouTube. I just got a notification that we were live. Last time we went about an hour. I think, tonight probably go like a half hour unless there's people commenting and wanting to know some things or whatever. I don't know. This is kind of more informal. We're not really, there's no structure. There's no topic. There is whiskey. It's always good. Nate, what are you drinking tonight?
Oh, one of your least favorite. Old Granddad 114.
It's not like my least favorite. It's not my favorite.
Well, no, I know that.
I think for $30, I think I can do. Well, I guess that's pretty low. It's 29, right?
Yeah, $29.99.
Yeah.
I mean, 114 proof, and I know you and I have different opinions on it. I get this nice caramel flavor right up front, but it definitely has quite a bit of heat on the back of it, especially being at 114 proof.
Yeah.
I actually have found recently a rye that is also 114 proof, also a $29 bottle that I think is smoother than this.
What is it?
Old Overholt bottled in bond rye.
That's right.
Which we have not featured on the podcast, but is on my spreadsheet of potential bottles to feature.
Potential. There's a potential for potential on the potentials. Yeah, it's in the list of lists, right?
Yeah. There's over 25 bottles on that list currently. So thanks to everyone that had actually commented on that post I made. So
that's a good reminder. If you guys are not seeing this on the Bourbon and BS community page, you're seeing it on the Bourbon and BS podcast page. This is something that we have a community page. Ask and I will approve you. The only rules are obviously there's no selling or any of that stuff. You know what I mean? There's no secondary bullshit or you can promote things that you're doing. You can. I mean, it's mostly focused around like the whiskey and the cigars, but it's also something where. Like I even promoted a friend's detailing business, and he's already gotten 2 people that have inquired about it.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, it's like something that you can help people in the community because Greg is in the community, so he saw that and all that good stuff. So it's something you can do. It truly is a community page. I want to say Ryan Jones is watching here. He says Steve Travolta. So did you see what he posted?
I saw that picture.
Ryan, if you're watching, you follow John Travolta on TikTok? Is that what that is? Or does someone send that to you? Because you're following, I mean, I like John Travolta movies, as much as the next guy, but it's like the fact that you are following him on TikTok, that's fine too. I'm not judging. I think I'm just too old for that. I don't know. But if John Travolta's doing it, obviously.
Well, he got paid to do a commercial. Where he was making a TikTok video during the Super Bowl. So
that's where the money is. All right.
There you go.
I like that a lot of people were like saying some odd stuff. I think Jamie Hurst said something that looks like Steve Crane and Chuck Norris had a baby
child. Yeah.
I don't know if I took it as a compliment. I don't know if it was a compliment or not, but I'm going to take it as one.
Well, I mean, come on. They said you looked like an offspring of Chuck Norris. Yeah, that's a compliment.
That's right. And then I don't know if you saw the comment also when Ryan Jones and Janie were going back and forth, and she's like, he doesn't have the chiseled features that Steve Crane has. I was like, I'll take that from, you're talking about John Travolta. Back in the day he did, maybe not now, but when I saw that, I was like, all right. Thank you, Ryan, for getting these backhanded compliments. I don't know what the goal was here, but whatever. I'll take it.
But no, I did the same thing. When Ryan posted that and I saw it, I'm like, holy shit, it does look like him. His beard, I think, comes up a little higher on the cheekbone.
I have more gray in my beard after this year than I think John Travolta does. But he also might dye it. I don't know.
Exactly. That's what I was getting ready to say. I'm sure he dyes it. So he's got to look younger than he is.
He does. He's had a good life. Ryan Jones says, haha, I'm on TikTok. I'm trying to stay hip because of my kids. Whatever you got to tell yourself. Sleep better at night. That's fine. Whatever. No, it's good to see you guys on. So, today again, this is kind of like a BS wrap session, just checking in on you guys. So if you guys are watching live or if you tune in later, just go ahead and, comment, keep the conversation going. That's kind of what we're trying to do here. We do this maybe every other Sunday. Depends on the schedule. We're trying to do it more regularly. Nate actually called me out tonight and was like, "Hey, are we doing the Sunday BS session?" And I said, "I am falling asleep on my couch currently. Give me a few minutes." I had a good chest workout, and then I did a 3-mile walk. Hadn't eaten anything. Then I meet up with friends Sonny and Tracy. Sonny was on the podcast recently.
Yeah.
We go to one of my favorite pubs. It was the bar that I watched the Cubs win the World Series, Turtle Creek. And I get in there. I hadn't eaten anything. I was like, I need to eat. And I said, "Can I order some food?" And she says, "No, our kitchen's actually closed today. Unfortunately, we had a call off." And I said, "Huh."
Oh.
And this is like 2:00, 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm starting to get a little upset and a little annoyed. Hangry, yes. Plus the fact that it was a depressing day at Turtle Creek. I mean, I got to be honest. Like, it was normally there's people there, like whatever. There's just people just kind of sitting in the waiting room, like of like a dentist office, but there was alcohol there. You know what I mean? It's just like it was. And then they had music playing, and it was like, oh, classic rock. That's good. Like, whatever. This is great. And then the next song was slow and depressing, and then the next one after that was too. And I'm like,
what songs were they?
I don't know.
Oh,
I've never heard them. I haven't heard them, but all I know is that someone was having a bad weekend. If they were in charge of the jukebox, a Touch Tunes account is that should be watched just for mental health. So then we went to a local canteen, and I had a few margarita type drinks and some tacos, and good to go.
I think tomorrow's National Margarita Day.
I got a head start on that, apparently.
Well, I actually got woken up at 7:00 this morning to my doorbell going off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it woke me up. And I'm like, wait, who the hell is ringing the doorbell at 7:00 in the morning? And I knew that we were supposed to have our landlord come over because the front porch light kind of worked. Sometimes it was working, sometimes it wasn't.
Sometimes the light works, okay?
Yeah, but I knew he was going to come later in the morning. 7:00 a.m. is not later in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm like, who the hell? And I didn't want to answer the door in my underwear, so throw on some sweats. And
I was going to say, you could put pants on.
Yeah. I open the door. It's a DoorDash delivery.
7 a.m.
7 a.m. And I'm sitting there. My eyes are half open.
Sure.
And and Lay's like, "Yeah, we have to wait because some people are claiming they're not getting their food, so we actually have to stand here and wait till you answer the door." And I'm like, "I didn't order any food."
What was it?
She's like, "McDonald's."
Oh.
I'm like, "I'm not ordering DoorDash from McDonald's anyway." And she's like, "Well,
yeah."
She's like, "Do you have a son that maybe you've ordered it?" I'm like, "No."
It's that gray, bushy Santa Claus beard you got going on.
And I'm like, "What's the address?" She's like, "Well, my eyesight." I'm like, "No, I don't care about your eyesight. What is the address you're looking for?" 4851. I'm like, "Well, this is 4861.
It's close.
You want 2 houses down."
It's close.
I'm like, "You want the White House 2 houses down." She's like, "Oh, sorry." I'm like, "Have a good one." Close. And then went back to bed and slept until about 10:30.
I was going to say, were you hungry after that? I feel like you would be hungry after that.
No, I wasn't hungry at all. I was tired and annoyed.
It's fair.
But then I climbed back to bed, and my wife had woken up too. She didn't realize I'd gotten out of bed.
Yeah. Nook says, "Well, you aren't sure if you have pants on now either." What's this? I got Darren saying not any more than the OSU coach after today. Is that because the basketball team lost? Is that what
I'm assuming, because Darren is my channel manager that I work with.
Yeah.
And he actually lives up in Kalamazoo, but went to Michigan. So I'm sure him and Nook would be good friends.
Probably.
But yeah, no, I go back to bed and my wife is up and she's like, "Yeah, I texted Mike, who's, the husband of the couple that owns the duplex we live in."
Yeah.
And she's like, "I texted him and he said it wasn't him." I'm like, "It's 7:00 in the morning. What the fuck are you doing texting him?" Like, I got up out of bed to go check the door. I don't need you to text the landlord to see if it's him. I'm going to find out if it's him in about 2 seconds. Like, why are you Thankfully, he was up, so he wasn't upset. He was already up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting there thinking, if it's 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, unless it's an emergency, don't text me. But
no,
yeah, no,
and especially if someone's at the door, like that's weird. Yeah, that whatever.
I'll answer at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'll answer the door and take care of whatever's at the door.
Yeah,
Whatever it is or whoever it is, I'll take care of that situation. Don't text my landlord. Don't text the landlord and wake them up at 7 o'clock in the morning. They got better stuff to do too.
yeah, like sleep or do something, anything else than
Exactly.
Yeah, so it was yeah, talking about being gray, Darren says, but yeah, yeah, Michigan beat OSU, so we're in Columbus.
It was a good game.
That was part of the depressing part, is that you had some like people to my right at the bar not wearing any OSU gear, but they were very upset with what was going on. They were yelling at the TVs at the bar. And this was before the sad music came on. So maybe it could have been those gentlemen next to me. I don't know.
No, I watched the game. It was a good game. I actually texted my dad during the game.
Yeah.
He's like, Michigan flops like they're soccer players.
I feel like that's basketball anymore. I can't.
They're learning from the pros. The pros do it too.
I can't watch basketball. I know people are into it and everything like that. I think I kind of capped my interest in basketball. I want to be better at it. I've mentioned that before when I was younger, because I was born in '80, so '90s. I was from like Chicago area, all that stuff. So I think I feel like I've seen with the '90s Bulls teams with Jordan and everyone else. That was for me the pinnacle of basketball greatness, and all the rest of this shit is just boring. And I don't know anyone playing college, especially. I appreciate if you have a team. I don't even root for the Bulls anymore. I don't get basketball. I'm not into it. I haven't dribbled a basketball in a long time. I haven't shot one. I would probably hurt myself doing that.
I used to play in some church leagues not too long ago, and I've never really been much of an NBA fan, but I've always been a college basketball fan.
Yeah,
and it's the same thing with football. I'm a bigger college football fan than I am an NFL fan, and that was, and I mean that's going back years. That's not, with recent few years and protests and all that stuff going on. That goes back many years. I've been a bigger college sports fan than professional sports, except for when it comes to baseball.
Yeah,
professional baseball is a lot more entertaining to watch than college baseball.
Yeah, I agree. No one really knows any college baseball. Dan Jarvis says they stopped the game today because someone got poked in the eye.
I did see that.
Like shut it down completely. Like everyone had to like.
No, it was more like an injury timeout. There was a screen, and a guy from Michigan swiped his hand across and actually went right across the eye from the OSU guard Washington. And he literally got scraped right across the eye. And
it's not. Yeah, it sucks, but
I mean, so he picked up his dribble and pointed to the ref. The ref called time, like an injury stoppage because he got poked in the eye. They had to review the play to see if it was flagrant or not, but they determined that it was just an incidental contact basketball play, and then OSU retained the ball and took it out. That was it. But they had stopped it to review it and injury and stuff like that.
Yeah. Nook says MLB is awful. The Tigers are awful, if that's what you're saying. I really enjoyed the mid 2010s, obviously, of Major League Baseball, being a Cubs fan. So that was something after 108 years. I was just actually talking about that, not to bring it down, but it was cool. I was talking to we were over drinks with Sonny and his wife, Tracy, and it was like somehow we got on this conversation about basketball and what we liked, and I asked if they like baseball and all that stuff, and they said yeah, and it came up in conversation that literally so the Cubs won in October of 2016, and my dad, who was a lifelong fan, passed away in 2017, months later. And it was one of those things that being a sports fan, it's like that poetic thing where he obviously died younger than he should, but he got to see the Cubs win the World Series, and I was hammered at Turtle Creek before I spent $400 to $500 on Fanatics stuff, Fanatics.com, for World Series stuff, because I thought they were going to sell out. And I was, again, not sober, drinking some Indians fans champagne that they had brought to the bar, which was nice. But I got to talk to my dad about that. So it's good memories. No matter what you're into, that's fine. And Dan brings up hockey players. I got more into in the last couple of years, Columbus Blue Jackets. And I know Nate's a big fan of them. And I know, hockey is a lot of fun to watch. And I, not a Blackhawks fan. Never grew up playing hockey, never watched it. It was not part of the, we were football, baseball, and basketball growing up. So
I've actually been to more OSU hockey games than I have Blue Jackets games.
When I went to Miami here in Ohio, and they have a fantastic program and always have. So I went to a few of those games.
And the cigar shop I used to work at, one of the regulars that started coming in there is actually one of the assistant coaches for the OSU men's hockey team. He actually played professionally for almost 10 years, I think, and was living up in Minnesota, and then got the opportunity to coach down here at OSU, and worked out well for him. His marriage was on the rocks already, and his wife didn't want to come down, and he's like, "Cool, this is a great opportunity for me. So, peace out. You can stay up there in Minnesota."
I doubt that conversation went cool. Peace out. When she said,
the conversation involved him using the C word a lot.
Not cool.
Not cool. Not that C word. A different
got Dustin. I showed on the screen that Dustin is watching from home. He's got a lot of stuff going on these days with work and family and everything like that. Yeah. So for those that haven't seen Dustin a little bit, definitely keep him involved in your conversation. We love having him a part of the podcast still and everything. But we haven't seen him a little bit. He's just been busy. I mean, that's what's going on right now. So life. He's at work right now. So Dustin, if you're at work, you may not want to be tuned into the podcast. Whatever. Hey,
maybe he's on his lunch break. Kroger does allow 15 minutes.
Yeah. Dan also Jarvis, he's commenting a lot. I love this. More of a Scotch guy, but also like bourbon. Is that allowed here? Yeah, absolutely. Drink whatever you want. I'm drinking one of my I love this one. This is like that underrated one. I posted this on. I hate David Nicholson Reserve. It is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Have we reviewed this one on the podcast ever?
I don't think we have. I know we've talked about it a little bit. We may have, because I know we talked probably the last time we had it.
Yeah.
That bottle used to be a $40 bottle in the state of Ohio, and it's actually one of those rare bottles that's actually gone down in price.
$35 right now.
It's $35.99
in Ohio. Yeah,
$39.99.
Well, it was like it was $35, then it went up to $39. Now it's back down to $35, if I recall.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So it's weird. And Nook, we can't wait to get you back on the podcast. My wife
first of all, with Nook, good stories with Nook on the podcast nights, and we can always share those. In fact, we could probably do the first part or the second part podcast nights with Nook Mercer. But I love that he wants to bring the cigars, obviously, but one of the things he's very tight with New Holland.
Yes.
Up there, and but it's funny. He says I'm bringing some new stuff soon, and you would think that it's cigars, but it's almost like he's more excited about some of the bottles that he has been able to secure. And he'll send me pictures, and he's like, "Hey man, I got this. It's like one in so many bottles, and I can't wait to have it on the podcast." I was like, "That's amazing. Dude, I love that."
Dude, I have loved any of the spirits that I've had that have come out of Holland, up in Michigan.
Yeah.
The beer barrel bourbon I really enjoyed. Obviously, they're known primarily for Dragon's Milk, I think.
Yes, which I had Dragon's Milk the other night at a double barrel.
Yeah. And then I still have. Oh, geez.
That's about 11% alcohol.
Yeah, that's a lot of beer.
Stir came back up. You want another one of those? I said, I'll take a Miller Lite. I mean, let's take a step back.
Let's change pace. Let's cut the alcohol content
down. Downshift a little bit here.
Yeah. But I still have some of the Hatter Royale, which was the Centennial hops flavored whiskey that Holland did, which to me, on a summer day, it tastes like a margarita in a glass.
That's right.
My wife actually teased me the other day. She had a coupon on her Ibotta app, and it was for New Holland Beer Barrel Bourbon, which is no longer available in the state of Ohio.
So we're going to use that coupon.
I can't use it unless I want to travel to another state.
It's like 3 hours to every state around us. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason Lowe says, he's going to be on. He's got this brand new venture. And then, Jason, if you want to throw it on a comment, the name of the company and everything, I'll throw it up on the screen here. Name of the company and what you're doing real quick. And it'll be a little preview for what we have going on at the end of March, which I'm excited about to have him back. It's good to see him recently.
Well, who we got on next week?
So we got Brian Penn, who has been in the audience for a while. He's got a local business. I think he's got a great story. I don't know him all that well, but the interactions I've had with him recently he's been great. He's had some great feedback on when he's been in the studio audience, and it's been a good addition to the garage when he's been here. There you go.
Yeah, I'm sure Bobby Hirschman will like him because the last time he was in the garage, he was drinking Crown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was in the garage, and it was funny because we've got the bottles and we've got what we're drinking on the podcast, and I look over, and he's just got a little airplane bottle,
tiny bottle.
Yeah. Kind of. I was like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah, he poured. Yeah, go ahead.
We put it up on the screen there, and he's also going to bring some Willet. He's tight with the Willet family. The family.
Nice.
Yeah. So he's tight. He was showing me some of the stuff. He's been in the private smoking room, and he's excited to get on here, show off the new venture, and then also he's a huge Willet fan. I
actually smoked that Maduro that he left at the shop the other day when he was in.
What'd you think?
Yeah, it was good. Good smoke. Definitely better than whoever left the other cigars that were in the box behind the humidor. Oof.
Yeah.
That was the one that I did a video. I didn't talk about who made that cigar because I didn't even know who made that cigar. But the last part of that video on Instagram actually got cut off. But whatever cigar it was I smoked just dried the shit out of my palate. I couldn't taste anything. Thank God it was the last cigar of the day. But no, I smoked that Veritas. I forget which blend it was, but it definitely was a darker cigar. There was a natural, and then there was what looked like a Maduro or a Oscuro. And no, the Maduro had a good flavor to it. Good flavor.
That was the Torch, I think, is what it was.
Yes.
Yeah, and I smoked the 3 blends. It was good. I enjoyed it. Barber poles are always a tricky beast, if you will. I think that if you like it, you don't. And then he also gave me one. And I forget. I know the story. The reason he said that. He said the Torch Maduro is San Andreas. I forget. The one I smoked was like a Robusto size of 5x52, but it was one that he is going to have in short, fat cigars because the name is. It means like a short Roman structure or something. He told it to me, and I can't recall what the actual name starts with a C. But so I'm really interested to have him on the podcast here coming up in about a month. So it's great. He was just on Coop's podcast.
Yeah,
Cigar Coop. So that's an episode. If you guys are into the cigar world, check it out. He said Castellum means short Roman tower. So I was in the ballpark.
You said short Roman structure, so yeah.
That's right. Short Roman tower is that an oxymoron? Is my question. Is a short tower? When I hear tower, I feel like it should be bigger. Don't they all though?
I thought you'd be bigger.
Yeah. I'm smoking the Romeo Julieta Reserva Real tonight. That was the second cigar that we were going to really smoke. But then we had those great cigars from Cedar Creek Cigars this last week. You know,
which I thought it was funny because after the podcast, I was texting one of the guests that we had, and I told him I was smoking the Connecticut, and he asked me what I thought, and I was like, you know what, it kind of reminds me of the Romeo and Julieta Reserve Real, which is what you're smoking right now. And he goes, "It's funny you say that because this cigar uses a lot of the same tobacco as that cigar." And he
Is that
actually
right?
complimented me, saying that I had a good palate. The fact that I compared those two cigars, seeing as how I didn't know what the blend was, but it turned out that they're very comparable in
Yeah.
that blend.
It's good. Good catch. Good catch. Dave Merrick out there. Can there be a 10 event with 10% capacity?
That'd be 30 people.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah, I guess we can do it on the patio. It won't be a tent, but we actually will do a small event. So for those that are in the Columbus area or know the cigar world, Tinder Box at Easton puts on a smoking tent event. We've talked about it on the podcast before. It's kind of, Brian's and my baby event. It turned into something big, and we can't do it obviously with the rules and regulations in the state of Ohio. It sucks. I find it to be very frustrating that some of us small businesses can't do these things based on some guidelines, but places like the Blue Jackets and major sporting events where they make a lot of money, all that stuff. It's kind of like, when they shut down the small businesses, but Walmart can stay open. It makes total sense.
Yeah. Little guy can't make money, but the big guy can.
Yeah. You can't go into a, what? I don't know. You can't go into like a tire store, but if Walmart sells tires, you can buy them there.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Bullshit.
Yeah, and plus with the tent, with the cost of actually renting a tent, having it put up, and having the vendors and all that stuff. I mean, that's a lot of trouble to go through for 30 people. unless we want to sell tickets for $1,000 a piece.
Yeah. Did you see? And I don't want to. Yeah, I don't care if we do it anymore. This is a Sunday one, so we can do it, and we're already pushing a half hour, so we'll see what the conversation goes here. But you see that Fauci says that now we're looking at possibly wearing masks well into 2022, and that by the time
kiss my Irish ass.
By the time the kids get their first vaccine, we're going to be on round 1 or 2 for the elderly, or round 2 or 3 rather. I mean, this is never ending. All I'm looking for right now is warmer weather. Let's just.
I just saw an article where it was a professor at the Johns Hopkins University in the medicine department saying that we could reach herd immunity by April. And that over the last 6 weeks, the number of cases has gone down by 77%.
Yeah, I shouldn't have started this conversation.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just end it there.
First of all, herd immunity for something like this, as we know with the flu and other viruses, is not something that you're now immune to it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Say you already had it. That's it. You already had it. You didn't die. And again, I'm not trying to make light of it. We've talked about it briefly on the podcast, and it's terrible. There are some things going on, but I had the same conversation again today where I'm like, what about the flu? It's not there. Not a conspiracy thing. It's like, well, I think the masks are helping. It's like, well, why isn't it helping the other stuff? And well, I think it is. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The masks prevent us from getting coronavirus, or they prevented us from getting the flu, but not the coronavirus. So,
I think we learned a lot in this whole thing. I think, Dan says, hopefully the feds aren't listening. Yeah. Well, Zuckerberg will probably shut us down before the feds. I mean, basically. So
I'll give him my address.
Yeah. I had someone asking me. Here's something light. It's always funny when someone asks you. This person's asking me, give me a recommendation on a movie. I feel like I've watched them all. And I'm like, well, what genre? Can you narrow it down? And like, no, I don't know. I feel like I've watched all the movies. So I throw out what do you want to watch? It's like comedy or I also like scary movies. I was like, have you seen the other guys? Because I feel like that's one that a lot of people miss. And she's like, yeah, seen it. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm about to get busy here, so.
I'll give you a recommendation for a movie that you probably didn't see because I don't even know if it went out in theaters. It's called The Finest Hours.
The Finest Hours.
Mm-hmm. Stars
I'm going to send it to the person.
The main two actors, Chris Pine and Casey Affleck. And it's based on a true story. So Chris Pine's character is he works for the Coast Guard in New England, like in the 1950s.
Okay.
Young guy. And then Casey Affleck is an engineer on a tanker. And
don't give away anything, by the way.
No, but there's a bad storm, and there's got to be a rescue, and the history of that story and that rescue is still considered the greatest small boat rescue in the history of the Coast Guard.
All right. What's that on? Netflix?
I don't think it's on any of those anymore. It used to be on Netflix. And when I first saw it on Netflix, I probably watched it 3 times in 3 days.
Yeah.
And then had it on my list of DVDs that I want to have, so that way I could have that movie on DVD at any time.
Did you say DVD?
DVD. I still have DVDs and Blu-ray.
Do they make DVDs? Is the question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I just went and bought a DVD 2 weeks ago.
Where did you pick it up, at Kmart, or was it at like Sam Goody?
Half Price Books.
That makes sense.
But no, they still make new movies in DVD.
Do they have Laserdisc? I mean, what do we have here? I didn't think they did DVDs anymore. I thought they just did like Blu-rays and not HD DVDs because they lost.
No, they still do. I'm trying to think, like, what was the newest movie that I bought that's actually on DVD. I know my wife actually bought me some of the Marvel movies on DVD.
Wait,
I'm like, why didn't you get them on Blu-ray?
Yeah, I was gonna say I have streaming 4K at this point, and you're getting DVDs. Like, what's the quality of a DVD? I mean, 480p or? I
don't know, but it's still. I mean, it's the ability to have it on hand and watch it whenever.
God, you're old.
And I'm younger than you are. And then I think my wife would always buy them in DVD because the DVDs were cheaper than Blu-ray. And I'm like, no, the quality's better on Blu-ray. Buy the Blu-ray.
Yeah. Oh, so this person says they have not seen it before. So there you go.
I really enjoy that movie.
It's a drama, though, right?
It's a drama. Yes.
All right. Yep. See, this is people helping people. This is what the community is all about, right? You've never met this person, and we're solving the world's problems by picking out DVDs for everyone.
Yeah. No,
I doubt they're gonna get a DVD of that. Yeah.
Well, but they can stream it or whatever and watch it, because with me, I have to watch a movie a couple times. No, they still make new DVDs. No, fuck off. But no, like I have to watch a movie to actually see if it's something I enjoy before I determine whether or not I'm actually going to buy it on Blu-ray or DVD. It's the same thing with like with CDs. I know no one buys CDs anymore.
They don't.
No, but back in the day, or even now, if I buy a CD online, download it through iTunes or whatever, there has to be more than one song on that in order for me to purchase that album. Like, I have to actually like multiple songs on that album in order for me to purchase that album. But then I still have albums. I still have records.
That I get. I mean, that is something. I guess that's something, right? But
I have records and a record player.
That's fine. That's actually the hipster. The kids are doing that these days.
I have records that are older than you, Steve.
I believe that. They didn't make a whole lot of records when I was, in the 80s.
Oh, I've still got some newer ones too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know when the Rolling Stones a couple of years ago, or it's probably been about 4 years, they came out with their last album, and it was more going back to their roots of being more of a blues band than a rock and roll band.
Okay.
Their joke was that they actually recorded that entire album in 3 days. but it's a very blues oriented album, and that was actually released on record. And
Okay.
I think brand new that record cost $40 and the CD cost $25.
I do have a question here, and then I got a surprise guest come on. Dan says, cigars and cardio, something I struggle with. I did a 3-mile walk today with a cigar.
Yep.
Let's see how I did here. So I don't know what kind of cardio you're looking for, Dan, but
you don't have to do them at the same time.
You absolutely should. I total calories 440 calories. They say 319 active during that 3-mile walk while smoking a cigar.
Well, and that's something that I started doing with my morning walks as well. And unless it's so cold, I have to wear a face mask, and I don't feel like pulling the face mask down. I'll buy certain cigars that I know should last for that 2.5 mile walk that I take in the mornings. And I was disappointed, Dave, with what happened to Monday.
So Dave Merrick throws out another movie. What happened to Monday? We're kind of scattered here, but I mean, this is good. We're getting community effort here. What happened to Monday? Again, don't give anything away. I don't know anything about either of these movies. Now I have a couple to watch here.
I was disappointed in that movie. That stars the same lady that Rooney Mara, I think it was, that was in the original Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the Swedish version.
Yeah.
It stars her. It takes place in a society that limits parents to having only one child, and somehow this lady had a set of septuplets, so 7 twins.
Okay.
And
was that
so
on
they were.
DVD?
I'm sure it is.
We have Nook on
sure
here.
It is.
We got Nook tuning in now, part of this here.
I watched.
Was it on DVD?
Netflix.
I doubt it was on DVD.
I'm sure it is, but I bet if I look on my phone right now, I could find it on Amazon DVD.
The DVD thing is fucking classic, man. I can't deny that.
I just like the way you're describing too. I was waiting for you to finish, and it's like you're describing like buying a CD album, and it's like, well, I have to have more than one song. It sounded like me in like 1993. You know, it's like you buy the album for one song, and it's like a 10 song album from like some person that, you know, is a newer artist or whatever. It's like all the rage and all that stuff, and there's 9 shit songs on there.
Yeah, but usually albums back then, it's like track 2, 4, and 7 are the good tracks. Everything else is bullshit.
Yeah. Even now on like iTunes, they have a star next to like the popular.
Oh yeah. Listen, we already know what we're getting into when you get into like iTunes. Like, all right, I saw the star. I'm going to listen to that, and the rest of it can fuck off.
I've got a few valuable records in my collection.
That I believe. What do you wait?
Records or DVDs?
Records.
Okay. Just checking.
With the you still buy CDs though, right? I mean, so with the CDs, what are you listening? No, you don't.
I couldn't. I couldn't tell you the last. I couldn't tell you the last. Yeah, I am more inclined to buy an album, a record, these days than I am a CD.
You can't find CDs.
You can.
I mean, you can. I'm eBay or whatever.
I don't know.
No, I mean you can still get CDs at Best Buy, Half Price Books, Walmart. You can still get CDs.
I'm getting into the record game now. I bought a turntable, started buying vinyl.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you DJing or are you just listening for pleasure?
Hey, I DJ'd back in the day, but right now, hey, man,
I believe it.
Listen to some vinyl back home.
Sure. I just plug in my phone or use like Bluetooth, or you guys been in the garage. I have the surround sound, and I just plug in the iPad or whatever. I don't know why.
Well,
I don't know why you guys are doing this to yourselves.
2 years ago, when my dad moved, one of the things he didn't want to move was a couple of milk cartons of vinyls, and so he asked me if I wanted them.
Is that Beastie Boys?
Yeah.
Is that Licensed to Ill? Yeah.
And then I went little 90 style right here. Little
In excess. Wow. Wow. Wait, hang on. Before the milk carton, I've got the NXS thing. What mood are you in when you pull out? Is like a date thing?
No, man. Actually, dude.
Is this just like you on a Sunday afternoon? You're like, you know what? I'm gonna turn up the old record player and put on some NXS.
Actually, dude, that's actually one of my favorite albums, man. Like growing up, that's a really good album. If you listen to all the tracks, I will kick back with a nice glass of bourbon and just listen to NXS. I was actually listening to it earlier on today.
See, there you go. Like I said, on a Sunday, you're just kicking back on your own.
Listen,
hanging out with NXS.
I'm getting ready for my week on the road, heading out to Pittsburgh this week, and I put NXS on, man. That album is actually really good. So, hey,
I'm not buying your vinyl. I mean, I can just check it out on iTunes right now. They got Pink Floyd.
The thing is, I actually have all those albums on iTunes too.
Sure.
In my Apple Music, but I don't know, man. It's something just putting that on my record player. I have it playing through my Bluetooth speakers.
Sure.
I don't know, man. It's just like a relaxing type of thing.
I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I don't know. I probably will get like my mom and dad's like big hi-fi cabinet record player. You know what I mean? That they had at the house, and gorgeous piece that I have nowhere to put it, and it'll just be here. But I don't know. I think it's cool. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it.
Probably
you got the Dad's Hat, Pennsylvania.
Yes, sir.
Dad's Hat, Pennsylvania rye whiskey.
Yeah, that was Craft Whiskey of the Year.
By who?
I don't know. Whiskey Magazine.
Some guy.
No, it says
slapping on like gold stickers. Like gold stars
it's Whiskey Advocate.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
That's reputable.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't get it in Michigan, but I pull it from the Party Source.
Yeah,
a couple private barrels, and they actually have the other 4 bottles in the lineup. I seem to like this one the best.
Good.
So
good. So
go
ahead.
Since we were talking about vinyl, the one I didn't show you that's probably the most collectible vinyl record I have is Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Sure.
The Chronic?
No. Michael Jackson's Thriller, not the Chronic from Snoop Dogg. No.
Is it? Well, no, actually, that was Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre, yeah.
But, I don't know rap.
Do you have an original Thriller from the 80s?
I don't.
Original print.
I am pretty sure that album is from the 80s. The one that I have is from the 80s.
If it's original, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I had that on cassette tape. I didn't have the vinyl. It's probably still in my my closet at my mom's place. I think, along with my Kathy Ireland calendars.
But no, I mean, there you go.
There you go, Dr. Dre, the Chronic, yeah.
But it's funny when my dad moved. My dad had some vinyl records. My stepmom had some vinyl records, and my dad just gave all of them to me because they don't even have a record player. And I start going through, and I can tell which records were my dad's and which ones were my stepmom's.
Sure.
Because with my dad's, it's like Thriller, Alan Parsons Project, Pink Floyd, Rush, a ton of Foreigner. And then I go to my stepmom, and it's like Cyndi Lauper and stuff like that. Like, completely different. No, still a good album. That one, at least.
Yeah. Let's see. We got a question from Dave Merrick.
I like to hear that you're keeping it old school in more ways than one. You're kicking it old school with the DVDs and the vinyl.
The DVDs.
Cheers.
Dave Merrick has the Bourbon and BS podcast ever thought of getting a barrel from a distillery and offering it to their followers for money? Yes, this has been in conversation. At this point, we're not there yet, but yes, this has been brought up.
Yeah, because when you're talking about some of these distilleries that we really enjoy, some of them have a really long waiting list for a barrel.
Yeah.
And if we're going to do something like that for our listeners, it's got to be something that our listeners are going to want.
Yeah.
But then there's also a huge initial investment and expense associated with that.
Yeah, we got to up the Patreon a little bit here. We got to up the Patreon.
I mean,
hey, Nook, you got a little feedback on yours. I don't know where you put your iPad or whatever. Yeah, so we'd have to up the Patreon, and if we were to do that, that is something that we can get together. But it would have to be like
it would either have to be a pre-order or we have to have a lot of donations come in to be able to purchase the barrel ahead of time.
Yeah. Let's see if I can.
No, there shouldn't be any feedback. Nothing.
It's just like audio noise.
Yeah, something's choppy.
We get that sometimes with iPads and stuff when we have multiple feeds on here.
So, Nook, how has traveling been for you as of late? Are you back to normal, or are you still just doing phone calls? Or what's...
No, I've been pretty much I've been back on the road since June. It's been limited travel.
Okay.
Like I was out in Columbus last week.
Yep.
I had to brave the snow to get there. Almost got knocked off the expressway coming home by a semi. But no, man, like we're out there, but it's definitely less than what we've done in the past. That's for sure.
And you have Michigan, Ohio, Indiana?
No, I have Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, and then Western PA.
Okay.
So, I see, there's a few of us out there. Like, we tend to congregate at certain hotels. Like, we all meet up in Cleveland actually, it's the same hotel. We all congregate there, man. It's actually a good time there, too.
Yeah.
And the bourbon selection there is good. Like, I was with, I'll give him a shout out tonight. I was with Tim from Perdomo. We always stay there. And,
Tim Kime. We had him on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, man. Like, we were at the Doubletree over in Independence. And I stretched him to more drinks than he wanted. But, no, man, it's all good.
It sounds like you.
Hey, I just want to party, man.
Yeah. Well, let me ask
you. You're old school, baby. You're old school.
I actually asked the guy about his bourbon. He's like, "Oh man, well we have this well bourbon." So, like, he's there in the well. He's like, "All right, well we got this. This is one I've never heard of, Weller Green, and this is one I haven't heard of, Weller Red."
He hadn't heard of those?
Antique
This
107.
is one that I think people might know. It's like Angel's Envy and blends. It was like an all-star lineup that he pulled out of the well. I looked at Tim. I'm like, Tim, you better straddle in, son, tonight because I'm about to have a good time.
Yeah. If Angel's Envy, Blanton's, and Antique 107 are in the well, like that spells trouble for the night.
Yeah, I had. And I'm gonna mute your mic a little bit while we're talking because I think that's what's happening.
Yeah,
feedback.
Yeah, just mute it because I don't know what's going on.
I was going to ask a question.
It's fine on my end.
All right, go ahead, Nate.
So, Nook, I wanted to get your opinion because the whole COVID thing has been going on for almost a year now, and you said you didn't get back on the road till June. And some of the stuff really started to shut down, like beginning of March. So probably March to June, we're going to be really, really slow for you. I was curious as to how, because I know how it was for me 7 years ago, how dealing with COVID and being on the road sales, compare that to 7 years ago when we had that polar vortex come through the Midwest. Like, how does this compare to when that happened? Because I know that hurt a lot of cigar shops in the industry and a lot of customers and stuff like that. Like, how does this compare to that?
It's actually kind of different, man. Like it was because we had the COVID shutdown, and like our factories all shut down. A lot of the businesses shut down, but the catalogs never shut down. So, as an industry as a whole, like, you know, for me personally, March, April, May was awful. But the industry was up because the catalogs were up. Everybody needed to get cigars from somewhere. Actually had a lot of guys ordering cigars online that have never ordered cigars before. But
That's
then you
exactly
also
right.
had guys that are the part-time cigar smokers. Like, all right, well, now I need something to do in all my downtime. I'm gonna find. I'm gonna go online. So, but it was weird though. Like, we actually got back on the road. My boss Tom and I, Mr. Lazuka,
Yeah.
Mr. Asylum.
Yeah.
We went in like the end of May. We actually headed out to Columbus then, and we hit the road for like a couple weeks, and the business went up like crazy. It was almost like a secondary cigar boom. Like we're down in the factories running 0.5% capacity, so we're up a lot, and we can't make enough cigars. Like we still haven't been able to make up, the increase, and that's the way that it's been for everybody. Like Esteli was hit hard too, like the
Yeah.
COVID scare and everything like that. But it was, you know, like our travel's been limited. We've been out there, and you know, it's been a weird second cigar boom for
Mhm.
us
That's good.
right now. I've been out since June and been going around, and well, shit, I was out there last week. So, but yeah, man, it's been actually really good for the industry in terms of um like guys kind of being filtering into the brick and mortar shops that were buying online too, because the online stores were backed up,
Yep.
and it forced people into local shops. And yeah,
Well,
I
I've
think
noticed
it's
too
really,
recently.
really good for the industry. Like how hard hit we are, it's been awesome for our industry because every shop that I went to, they're like, "Oh, we were down," but oh my god, the next month we were so up, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like in the Columbus area, I will tell you right now, I was up a solid 35%, which is crazy for our industry standard.
Yeah.
Like everybody out there was just killing it. It was the guys that came from the online places, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Well, we can't get our stuff from the online places. We're going to go try to find that local shop that might have the cigar that we are accustomed to smoking."
Well, I think what we found at the Tinderbox was the guys that were already coming in, they were buying more.
Yeah,
Like because
Some
they were
people
at
were.
home.
that's true.
Yeah, some. Yeah, not everyone.
Buying stuff by the
Uh,
box for
yeah,
sure.
they were at home more, so they were smoking at home more than if they were coming into the shop. Because you'd have some guys, and every shop's got them. You have some guys that come in the shop and they hang out there for 5 hours, smoke
Mhm.
2 or 3 cigars, but then when these guys are stuck at home, like they're smoking cigar after cigar after cigar, and I think that's one of the reasons why the industry had such a boom in terms of the overall sales
You know
was
what?
because you had people
And
that stuck at home smoking more.
and also too, like I heard from a lot of other store owners, it's like, all right, the guys that just smoke on the golf course, like with their buddies, now they're curious now too. They said that they've sold more accessories, humidors, lighters, cutters, like more so than they would have like over the year. Like usually, like I did retail for 16 years. Steve knows. Steve knows my history.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I was in the retail side for so long.
I do too. I know the
all right,
shop
Nate,
that you
calm
own.
down. It's not about you, Nate. Calm down.
You know, but they said that like humidor sales and lighter sales were booming during COVID.
Well, it's like Dave Merrick says, you know, we covered this during the shutdown, right? I mean, like that was one of the things that we did on this podcast, and we did things at the Tinder Box, and like it was like you said. I mean, there were some resilient people, business owners, and people working for those businesses that kept things going. It's interesting though. You know, Dave says you sat on the patio more. We had that one I remember with like was it Michael Herklotz, who is revamping it. I don't even know how to say the name of the company. Does anyone know?
Oh,
like
I forget.
I don't know, but
it's like Fergio or something. Anyways, it's
Herklotz.
It's Herklotz, who was Nat Sherman basically, but he was talking about front porch people. You know, you sit out front instead of in the back of your house. I mean, you wanted that socialization, but it is interesting that even in an industry that is very, very specified, like ours, the same shit was happening. The big boys, the online people were booming while the rest of us were like shut down because it was unsafe. And, you know, like the Amazons of the cigar world, if you will, who are owned by the big manufacturers. And I don't think that they were lobbying for that or anything like that. But it's interesting that even in an industry that's very, very much specialized and specific, that it had the same effect on our industry, that the big boys did just fine.
Yeah.
And then like companies like yours, you kept shipping them what you could.
But the thing was,
and there's no fault. There's no, like, I'm not pointing the finger or anything like that. But that was the dynamic that we were dealing with.
Steve, it was actually good for us in this aspect.
Yeah.
Because, all right, well, XYZ customers said that, all right, they went to their local shop and said, well, JR was out of your cigar of this. Like, all right, well, we have it. The thing is, we don't discount. We never have. We don't do that. Like, we let the catalogs discount up to 10%. Yeah. So they said, well, we could buy it from you, and still, after shipping and all this, it's the same price.
Yeah.
So that's why our retail business went up. We're
good.
not a savings online. We never have been. We've always stuck true to what we believed. Like when you're buying Asylum, CLE, Eroa, we're not going to discount out to the catalogs. Yes, we are in the catalogs, but we're never going to discount our stuff to them. If you
now they have to do the tobacco tax.
It's always the same. So it actually benefited us as a company a lot. Like we were up during the pandemic because of that.
And
that's really good.
That's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I'm a big fan.
All my territories were up.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I'm a big fan of CLE, Aroa, and Asylum. Is that's one of the reasons. Not only do you guys make absolutely fantastic products, but the way that you guys deal with those online retailers, you help make it a fair playing field for everybody, for brick and mortar and for retail. Because there are some companies out there that give just absolutely huge discounts to the online, because those onlines are going to move so much volume. They'll make the money over the course of the volume. But you guys are like, no, we don't want to devalue the appearance of our product.
And so we don't. The thing is, we don't give those deep discounts to those companies like other companies do. We never did it. Like, listen, you want to carry our product? That's awesome. This is what we're going to give you, and this is the price we're going to give you. If you don't like it, that's fine with us. We've always been that way.
The people that like your product are going to buy it.
Hang on. Get off of you guys for a second. No. Wait, Nook. How about the consumers? I've had more people, and you guys are like, you know, I appreciate that. CLE, Aroa, and Asylum, you guys are killing it, right? But the aspect that you guys aren't even talking about is the customers. They're coming in now on the retail side, not only looking for the cigars like you're talking about that you couldn't get to the big boys. I've had more customers in recently that literally are like, yeah, I haven't been in since, almost a year now. How'd you guys do? They're like this. And it's not anything against them. This COVID fatigue that everyone's talking about, seasonal depression, all this shit. Now that this is happening, and now there's a vaccine out there, and the media has shifted their their viewpoint to a point. Now, granted, I mentioned Fauci earlier, like it's not completely shifted, but there are now people coming out again now that this is happening in February, and March will be much the same way.
Yeah,
Warm weather.
Steve,
You're going to have people coming out that they're like,
were those regular customers that
yes,
were saying that?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
but
they were.
Where did they go since then?
Online, probably.
And
that's what I'm saying. I think now you're getting back to that point. No,
maybe.
I think you're getting.
But Steve, I know your area though too. You had to deal with circumstances that were not like anybody else in your area. That actually hurt you guys a lot.
Oddly enough, I know what you're saying as far as we don't smoke in the shop. So recently, yes. I also know that
I'm just saying that, like, from some past experience, it absolutely been.
It has. I also know that we worked harder, I think, during the actual shutdown than anyone else in the area, that we actually had a boom in the summer. We gained a lot of new customers over the summer. So I'm not saying the right way. I'm saying that my point is that I think you're having people that want to now go back out and support some local businesses, local restaurants, and local bars. I was in the pub next door at Fido, and they have been busier than I've seen them in a long time. Like last night, they had a wait. A lot of the restaurants around our shop have had a wait on the weekends, like basically since like 11 o'clock or noon, and they have a wait because they're at limited capacity, but the people are wanting to get back out. I think it's great to see. Is my point, is that it's good to see people getting back out and really trying to support the local businesses. That's what I love about it. I mean, the online people had their day, and there's going to be some people that have shifted completely to the Amazon or the ordering online on the apps and everything else. It'll happen continuously, but there's going to be some support for the small guys.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, for what it's worth. What are you guys doing here? We're coming up to an hour here. Like, what are you guys doing? Nook, you're on here now. How are you? I'm going to mute you while I talk because it's kicking back. How are you, Nate and Nook, getting through this winter blues on top of COVID and the continuing, as we call it, the continuing 2020? I know a lot of people are doing certain things to try to get out. I mean, we have other parts of the country that aren't used to getting this type of snow and winter and weather. Give something as we kind of wrap up this Sunday BS session. What are you doing, obviously, besides drinking and smoking?
Well, for me personally, the only thing that's really changed is instead of working in the office, I'm working at home.
Right.
I've still been able to do my job, 5 days a week and still pull my hours at the Tinder Box. Outside of that, not a whole lot has changed. My wife and I maybe don't go out to dinner, twice a month. Maybe we actually order out through, online through DoorDash or whatever.
Yeah.
But for us, not a whole lot's changed in our lives because, we're both still working, and me working two jobs. It's still not changed. So for us, it's still routine. Yes, there's been a little different in the routine. Working at the shop, having to wear a mask. You don't have the socialization of customers hanging out inside.
Yeah,
but it's still going to work. Still going to the grocery store, still doing the stuff that we typically do. For us, not a whole lot has changed, and it's actually something to be thankful for. That for us, we didn't have to make any huge adjustments in life.
No, it's good.
We just see more of each other at home, which maybe good or bad, depending on which party you are. But thankfully for us, life was still able to go on as my daily. I'd actually started doing that walk during the summer, and over time started getting a little tired of it. But I actually do miss that walk that I have each morning going to the office, and that's one of the reasons. And Steve, you're partially responsible for it as well. That's one of the reasons why I actually started doing that walk in the morning again.
Good.
was because my morning walk is about the same distance as what it was I was walking to work every morning before the COVID happened.
Good.
And I still kind of miss that because that walk, yes, I would drink my coffee during it. I wouldn't smoke a cigar before going into the office. But that walk was a way for me to just talk to myself, to reflect, and to just have my mind to myself, other than the instances where I was trying to avoid getting hit by cars in an intersection.
Right. That's bad.
It happened a few times. But no, that walk was actually peaceful. That walk to work was peaceful because there was no other distraction. Just on the sidewalk, walk straight down the road, head to work, but just had my mind to myself. And
Right.
so that's one of the things that's great about doing those walks. And I'm sure you get that same benefit too.
I do.
You just have that time to yourself. You get to shut off everything else, ignore everything else that's going on, and just be by yourself.
Sure. Nook, how about you?
Yeah, man. Like,
What have you been doing to get through this, the winter blues and everything else?
Dude, I've been trying to get out on the road as much as I can. Like, last week was a challenge. Like I told you when I saw you last week. Like, oh man, dude, Monday was rough. I get to Columbus, ice storm, like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
And it's what I've been facing like all winter. Like, dude, man, is this shit gonna stop? But once I get home, like I try to hang out for a day or so, and you know, um, got back in the gym, took the Steve
Nice.
thing, got the
The
Planet
focus.
Fitness going right now.
Nice.
So trying to get back into the old hockey regiment from back in '09.
Yes.
But no, man, like when I'm on the road, I just try to take a step back, like analyze everything, and it's not the same world as like what we've been in, you know, and I I'm one of those guys that like I can't grasp it. Like I'm single. I live alone and I live in one of the biggest cities in Michigan. I like going out when I get home after a long week on the road. I can walk downtown, go look at a marquee, go see a concert, I can go see a hockey game, I can do any of that. And it's taken a lot for me. And this past year has been fucking crazy, man. Like
Yes.
like I was talking with
Cheers.
like Ed over in you know over at Woodland, and it's been like a year since we all had to deal with this. Like I remember being out there last year.
Oh yeah.
Went and saw Steve. I remember I was like the first call Steve gave, and listen, I'm just gonna do like a PTSD just remembrance right now, man, because it has to deal with all the stuff we're going through right now, like as an industry. I remember Steve calling me on that day and
Which canceling the tent?
just seeing COVID hit our
Yeah.
country and hearing Steve's voice and like, dude, I don't even know what to say to you right now. We can't do it.
Yeah.
And me calling other reps and saying, listen, man, I'm like, Steve, we're gonna do something at the store. Like, I don't know if we can do it. I'll text you if we can do something at the store.
Yeah.
And he texted me back. He's like, yeah, man, we can do it. And getting all the guys that chose to stay to just pony up and fucking post up at the Tinder Box that day. I will never forget that day. That is one of my best memories.
Really?
I've been in the cigar industry since 1997. I've seen everything. I've seen people own industries, lose businesses, this and that. I've seen it all. That is one of the best moments I've seen
Wow.
in my 25 years in this industry, how we all came together and just said, listen, we don't know what this shit is. We don't know why we're closed down right now. This is an unknown entity. We're going to fucking rock this shit out. We're going to help the Tinder Box. It's going to be awesome.
No, absolutely.
Honestly,
I mean,
that is, Steve, I will tell you that right now. That is one of the best moments I will share with everybody that asks me about how my industry is. Just about 24 years in the industry. It was awesome.
I think it was amazing that day. Not only did you have Nook, yourself, and some of the other reps that still showed up for that event.
That's what I'm talking about.
You guys were all sitting there going, okay, yes, something's going on. People are still coming here. How can we make it great for the people that are still showing up? What can we do for them? Let's still kill it. Let's rock it. Let's still have a great event, even though it's not what we were hoping for, what we had planned for. But I think also we had quite a few customers that still showed up and were like, you know what?
we had about half. We had about 150 people show up that day.
But we still had people show up for that event that because something was going on, they were like, you know what? I want to help these guys even more. I want to help the shop even more. What can I do? These guys that are working for these companies, shit's going down. What can I do to help them? We had so many people buying samplers and buying more than they normally would buy at the tent event, even though we didn't have a tent. It was just in the store. We still had so many people buying more, and we had reps that were giving out more in order to incentivize those customers. And like everyone came together to make the best of a horrible situation.
Hell yeah, man. Dude, we had that bat signal out. It was like, I know offhand, it was like me, Miguel, Josh Bentley from Oliva. I mean, hold on. What is he from?
Altadis
now.
And it's what? Lee from Oliva now. Right?
Yeah, there you go.
I listen. I get confused when those guys swap companies. Anyways,
they basically travel together too. So
they follow each other around.
You know what? It's the Wonder Twins, and I'm not going to disparage that. But dude, it was like us at the beginning. It's like, listen, man, we're going to give you the best deal you could have. Listen, come see us. Like Miguel and I were fucking handing out shit left and right. It's like, listen, man, you buy our stuff. My 5-pack's always a good seller at the always has.
Oh, yeah.
So we're like, listen, we'll give you this. Let's juice this shit. Let's do this. Let's help Brian and Steve just knock this stuff out because it's gonna be it's bad. And we don't know how bad it's gonna be, but we need to do this.
But when you guys
like how we all got together and we're like, listen, man, we're gonna handle this stuff. We're gonna take care of our boys.
And when Miguel, when Josh, Lee, when there are reps, and I've been in the industry for over 8.5 years now. Anytime someone works in the industry for a while, the reps that take care of the shop and the people that are at the shop, that shop's going to help take care of those reps. And so when we see guys like you, Miguel, Josh, and Lee, taking care of us and taking care of customers, when all that shit was done, when the tent event that got canceled was done with, when the rest of the year goes on, when there's people that are looking for recommendations on cigars, there's a reason why certain people and certain brands keep getting recommended over and over, because those people were there for us and we're going to be there for them. It's cyclical. And so,
absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of brands that, because they take care of us at the Tinder Box, the people that work at the Tinder Box are going to recommend that brand to other people.
Same reason why the Tinder Box, year after year, even after that debacle, they're still up with us again this year.
Yeah, I think this is universal, guys. I think this is something you got to move your thumb there.
It's opposite.
So here's what I was gonna say. I'm glad you brought it back to this point last year. You know what I mean? Because this is not too far off So we're what, February 21st, right? Yeah. So this was a time that we were still selling tickets, but we were already done more or less. We're getting to that point. You know, not as many tickets were sold after the fact, but it's about March 15th. The mindset when I asked the question for everyone is just, how are you getting through these winter blues after this time? I know, me personally, a lot has changed because this year wore down a lot of people. 2020 wore down a lot of people. You're talking about a time where we thought it was going to be like 2 weeks. That day in Ohio, the restaurants were closed that night. I went to Scott and I went to Brian because I don't own either, any of the businesses. I just work there. That's my whole deal. And so I had to cancel the event. I had to be the one that got in front of people, work up the memo to everyone, the email to everyone.
I got that phone call personally.
Yeah, I had to make the phone calls. I had to do all this stuff. And it's not because it's not that Brian doesn't want to do it, but I mean, the owners don't want to do it. It was simply that this is my role in it. And I will say this to a lot of people out there, is that you're getting to this point. If you're listening to this Sunday BS session at this point, live or later, this is something that now full circle. Let's look at this as full circle. We still don't know what's going on. I lost my way. Everyone lost their way, in one fashion or another, right? Absolutely. This was the original thing that you're talking about, is that it was a fight or flight type of moment back in late February, early March.
Yep.
What I like about it is now I've come full circle, that I have the ground beneath me again type thing. We still don't know what's going on, but it's like, fuck it, we're just going to do it. Like you're saying, Nook, when you're talking about that, it was like, this is a great experience in your 20 plus years, 20, 25 years. This is what I want. Like getting through the winter blues, it's every fucking year. Now we have a different thing. Now we're used to this. Anyone that went through this from any aspect of it, Nate, you said things haven't changed a whole lot for you during this time. You are so fortunate that you and Jess.
And believe me, I realize that. I recognize that.
I know. I'm saying that I'm not saying you guys take it for granted. I'm saying you appreciate it. What I'm saying is that as we're getting back into March, when all this shit went down last year, regroup and find that hunger. I mean, some people were scared and they just like I've used the term turtle up, and they just like kind of hide from it.
Hell yeah, man. Let's fight.
I'm getting hungry again.
Hell yeah.
I wore out myself. Come summer last year, once everything started opening back up, I was fucking spent, man.
Yeah.
And now I'm to the point where I've been spent in different ways recently, and now it's like, all right, now we're back to where we were last year. What's changed and what hasn't changed in you? The outside factors, like I was saying earlier, I mean, this is like, again, we're getting into well over an hour here for a Sunday BS session that was supposed to be a half hour, but this is how it works. This is how it works. But my point is that when it comes down to you, that's where you have to get back to where you were before all this happened. It doesn't matter what changed, doesn't matter what outside factors are still happening around you. You roll with it. You keep fighting. The fight or flight, you keep fighting. I get mad sometimes because I see people around me that still can't deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
they're still waiting. That's not. You can't wait. You got to keep positive, no matter if it's just surrounding yourself
every day.
It what?
That shit pisses me off every day.
I listen to good podcasts. I watch good, like, positive movies. I listen to good music on my walks. I've created new best practices. I switched gyms because that was the only change that I could make recently. That I'm not going to sell the house. I'm not going to move. I'm not going to switch careers.
Get your life on, man.
What's that?
All I can say is get your life on. Just go about your daily life. Don't worry about COVID. Don't worry about all that other bullshit. Just go about your life, man. And
you have to follow the parameters that are around you. I mean, I'm not saying that COVID's has not taken people's lives and been serious for people, but for the most part, you have to just be
follow your.
I know that's not what you're
parameters,
saying.
but
I'm
just live your life. Just live
Yes.
your life. I was talking to one of my good friends tonight, and she's like, "How are you taking this now? Like, you live like in a downtown area," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's fucking hard. Like, I love to be home, walk down, go see a hockey game, and have the option to go see a concert right afterwards across the street." I'm like, "Yeah, I would love that to come back. I just don't love like the fact that I don't have the freedoms that I had before." Listen, strap up, wear a mask. If you want me to wear a mask to go see a hockey game or a concert, like whatever you have, I'll wear it.
Yeah.
I don't care. Just give me my freedom back.
Yeah. No, and I think
That's it.
That's it. I mean, I think
That's what I have to say.
I'm also tired, you know, and like Adrian saying, just keep swimming, you know, and Dan, I threw it up there. This was an eye opener on so many levels. I encourage anyone that's listening and watching this thing. This is, dude, this is just another Sunday, man. This is the whole new normal bullshit that we like have talked about for the last year. We're still getting the same questions in the shop. I'm still getting the same questions about everything. It's like, so like, how are you guys doing? Like, you guys making it and all that stuff? And it's like, we'd make it better if you were shopping here for the last 10 months.
Absolutely.
Like, you're a smart individual. You're an adult.
Well,
Acting like an adult.
We had a guy come in the store just yesterday who's like, yeah, you know, feels like forever since I've been in here. You know, I haven't been here probably since right before the shutdown. We're like, well, what were you
That's
doing?
what I was saying earlier.
Well, Columbus was my biggest increased area in my whole territory, and that Columbus was actually the biggest increase with the CLE Cigar Company as a whole.
Yeah,
Wow.
so we're awesome.
So, yeah, everybody else was freaking out. I was hitting Columbus, and we rocked that shit out.
Absolutely. Hey, tell you what, guys, I'm gonna actually end this Sunday BS, but I'm gonna switch it over to Facebook Live if you got, or Facebook group if you guys want to do that for a little bit.
Right.
So, guys, if you guys listen to the audio, we're gonna cut this off.
Later, Steve.
What's that?
I'm gonna jump on whatever you have.
Perfect. So, guys, yeah, if you guys are listening to the audio, thank you very much. We'll be back on Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. for our normal scheduled podcast with Brian Penn, and I'm really looking forward to it. We've got Nook. You're going to be on with Jason here in town. The breaking news.
The 31st, right?
The 31st, yeah.
Wait, March though, right?
Yes, there's no February 31st.
I know. I'm just making sure that everything is.
We'll lock it up here after the fact. But yeah, so guys, thank you very much. Enjoy your week, and we're just checking on you guys. This is awesome. We had a surprise guest with Nook. He and I talked about it. He might actually join us on some of these Sunday conversations.
Yeah, man. I'm open anytime.
Perfect. All right, guys, thank you very much. Enjoy your week, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Peace.